Former President Edgar Chagwa Lungu's eligibility case might just take a dramatic turn as the Patriots for Economic Progress leader, Mr. Sean Tembo, filed in a new petition on the 25th of March 2025. Now, in case you are here wondering what am I talking about, well, you might as well just want to watch this video in order to understand what I'm talking about. Well, for us to understand this issue, let's go back into 2011. You see, in 2011, the Patriotic Front won the 2011 general elections. The Patriotic Front.
Shanky, give them the big man. Ding dong,
Don't you remember a very famous song, that helped to usher the Patriotic Front into government, was composed by Mr. Wesley Chivambo, who is commonly known as Dandy Crazy. He died on the 2nd of January 2025. May his soul rest in peace. He was a great, son of the soil, gallant soldier with famous songs such as Chintelelwe Chandi, Mami ni wewe, and I love you, Mami, Mavuto ya bwe. Also composed a hit song as well in 2021 for the PF. So rest in peace.
But one thing I appreciate about my past is my mama and my papa raised me up as a man who's made to be strong, to be courageous.
The Patriotic Front, through their leader and the founder, Mr. Michael Chilufya-Sata, won the 2011 general elections from the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, MMD. MMD won the 1991 general elections, taking over from the Zambia's founding father and the first president, Mr. Kenneth Kaunda, is late. Of course, MMD, which is the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy, had been in power for 20 years at the time in 2011 when they were kicked out by the Patriotic Front. So when the Patriotic Front won the 2011 general elections, their leader, Mr. Michael Chilufya-Sata, of course, had a really great vision for Zambia. One of his vision was to link 7,000 roads in Zambia, link them up Zambia for investments, and that was really good. His agenda really was to turn Zambia into a prosperous middle-income nation by 2021, the time he was going to be finishing his 10-year term. Mr. Sata was loved by many people. He was really jovial. At the same time, he was really serious with his work. Really loved, loved by many Zambians. And he started a lot of projects, of course, building roads, constructing of hospitals, schools everywhere, and the construction of the Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, which was turned from the Lusaka International Airport to Kenneth Kaunda International Airport. Now, sadly, barely 3 years when he was in power, Mr. Sata fell sick. Yeah, so that's how the President Sata left us, and he departed to glory on the 20th of October 2014. And Zambia's politics changed. The dynamics of politics changed. The coming to scene of President Hichilema and Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu. At the time, Zambia was using the 1996 constitution, which prescribed that a vice president cannot take over office of presidents, meaning that we were supposed to go for a fresh by-elections within 90 days or 60 days. And at that time, before transitioning power, the Speaker of the National Assembly was required to take over presidency, but of course with no prerogative power to make appointments and do other things. But he was supposed to, the Speaker was supposed to take over power in order to facilitate for a smooth transitioning from the late president to the new president who was going to be elected within 90 days. And meaning that now the Patriotic Front was supposed to go for a convention, and the convention took place in Kabwe. Among people that attended was the former Vice President, Madam Inonge Wina, Brana Punda, and other senior officials in the Patriotic Front. And they all settled for Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu to take over PF as president and to go for the presidential race, because at the time Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu was the Secretary General of the PF, was Minister of Home Affairs, was Minister of Defense, and he was the acting president. So all the things were pointing to Mr. Lungu being the president of Zambia. So they thought maybe it was the former president's wish that Mr. Lungu can take over power. So they all settled for Mr. Lungu, and Mr. Lungu went in the race against Mr. Hichilema, and Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu won the 2015 presidential elections in January. And we had a problem because the 2015 general elections, which were the by-elections, were only a year and 8 months away from the 2016 general elections. And that meant that Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu was only going to serve for 1 year, 8 months. And what did that mean now for for him serving a full term. Did it mean that he was going to serve a full term, or maybe it was going to be a half term? But the 1996 constitution at the time meant that a term was 5 years, and if you've been sworn in once, you can't be sworn in for the second time. But the 1996 constitution had a problem because it didn't define a term. So we needed to really define a term in the new constitution. And quickly the constitution amendment process started, by Zambia government engaging the central, CSOs, engaging various people, stakeholders, of course, the Law Association of Zambia, and they started drafting the constitution. And by 2016 general election, they had reached a final draft of the constitution, and the constitution was fully amended by 2016. And some of the key highlights of the 2016 constitution amendment were the removal of deputy ministers, and the putting of the fixed date of general elections, and the introduction of the running mate phase, because the introduction of the running mate meant that if a president dies, won't be needing to go to the by-elections. Instead, the vice president will be taking over power, as opposed to 2008 elections and the 2015 elections, that we were forced to go for an election after the death of the presidents in those cases. So now the 2016 constitution was in full swing. Now it clearly defined a constitution, a presidential term, saying a presidential term is anything, 3 years and above. If you serve for less than 3 years, you haven't served a full presidential term. So that meant that the period from 2015 January to 2016 September, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu had not served a full term, meaning that he had only served a full term from 2016 to 2021. Now we still had a debate going on, we still had the problem, and Mr. Downpulley now petitioned in the Constitutional Court to say, can you clearly state in this matter whether Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu, the President Edgar Chagwa Lungu, is eligible to contest the 2021 general elections. And the Constitutional Court, which was introduced in the same constitution in 2016, clearly stated that Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu was eligible to contest the 2021 general elections, because when he was elected first time in 2015, he did not serve a full term according to the 2016 amended constitution. And after the Downpulley case, there were two more petitioners. Of course, the court maintained its ruling that Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu was eligible to contest the 2021 general elections, and that led to President Lungu contesting the 2021 general elections. Wow, he lost to Mr. Hichilema. Sorry, I'm shouting. I want you to get the point. Mr. Hichilema won the 2021 general elections by landslide victory, and President Lungu wrote a letter to the Secretary of the Cabinet saying that he had retired from politics, and that everybody was happy about it and everything. But in 2023, when Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu attended the 9th anniversary or the 9th memorial of the late President Sata's funeral, Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu made a dramatic statement or dramatic turn, and he said that he was going to come back from active politics and was going to actually be back in the active politics and come back from his retirement. And that now meant one thing to the Zambia's politics: the rivalry between President Hichilema and the former president to be back again on the ballot in 2026. Remember, these people had been on the ballot in 2015, had been on the ballot in 2016, and they were on the ballot in 2021. So that statement by the former president meant that they were going to meet again for the 4th time in 2026. That message didn't set well, with a lot of people. And a Zambian youth called Mijelo Zombe, a UPND youth, actually went to the court. As simple as it was, we thought it was very simple, and he petitioned saying that Mr. Edgar Chagwa Lungu was not eligible to contest the 2026 general elections. We thought that maybe the court would ignore this because it had already ruled, in the 3 earlier rulings that the former president was, eligible. And after many postponement, the court finally had set 10th December 2024 to rule in the matter. And for the first time in history, the Minister of Home Affairs, Honorable Jack Mimbu, stated that the ruling of the eligibility case of the former president was going to air on the national broadcaster ZNBC and other platforms such as Diamond TV and Prime TV. And on 10th of December 2024, everyone, the whole Zambia, tuned in, waiting to hear the final case of the former president. And nobody had guessed. Guess what? The court had declared that the former president was not eligible to contest the 2021 2026 general elections, and that sparked a lot of debate. It was all over international news everywhere, saying that the former president had been barred from contesting the 2026 general elections, and the court had made that statement, and it meant one thing.
Res judicata, the court justified its decision.
Sections 2 and 7 are clear that the first term that ran from 25th January 2015 to 13th September 2016 was captured by the repealed Article 35 of the Constitution.
The judgment was delivered by Constitutional Court Deputy President Arnold Hichilema on behalf of Court's President Margaret Mnalua, sitting with judges Mapan Kawimbe, Martin Saluke, Matford Mwandenga, and Kenneth Mulife. This is in a matter where youth activist Michelo Chizombe sought the Constitutional Court's determination on whether or not Mr. Lungu was eligible to contest the 2021 general elections and future ones.
Yes, so that was a ruling from the Constitutional Court that was being presided by Justice Hichilema. And, so following that judgment, the leader of Patriots for Economic Progress, Mr. Sean Tembo, who's also the Tonse Alas Chairman of Communication, filed in a new petition on the 25th of March 2025, challenging that the Constitutional Court might as well revisit the case, in, that they ruled that Mr. Lungu was not eligible to contest the 2026 general elections or the future elections. He argued that the court had set a precedent when they revisited the case and, when they turned away from their own ruling and their own decisions, so that he said that it's possible for the Constitutional Court to, even, turn away from their own ruling, even in the future cases. Let's listen to the judgment from Mr. Hichilema when he made reference to, the court going back to their own ruling.
And future elections, the court, departing from its previous decisions, according to the Pencurian doctrine, ruled as follows.
In appropriate circumstances, we must be willing to reconsider and, if necessary, overrule constitutional decisions. Article 125, Sub-Article 3 of the Constitution provides that the Supreme Court is bound by its decisions except in the interest.
Yeah, so that's what necessitated the court to, to go back to the case and make a fresh ruling. So I've got a feeling that maybe this might we might be shocked again, that the court, once they can revisit this case, they might shock us as well to maybe rule otherwise. Yeah, because right now, the geopolitics, African politics and global politics, there are a lot of things that are happening right now, and even in this case, it might look simple, but it really determines the outcome of next year's general elections. So there are a lot of international communities, countries that are looking up to this case. So it might seem simple, but of course there might be people that are looking forward to this case. So I just have got a feeling that maybe just maybe the Constitutional Court can make a fresh ruling. Yeah, because when it presided over this case for 3 times, it ruled in favor of that Mr. Former President was eligible to contest, and now on the 10th, December 2024, they said he was not eligible. So it's more like 3 times he was eligible, only 1 time he was not eligible, and now it's going in there for the for the 5th time. Yeah, for the 5th time. So I don't know, but yeah, we'll be looking forward, and I'm looking forward to seeing your comments over this issue. Otherwise, yeah, it's a lot that is really happening. And I would like to be as objective as I can. Yeah, I really respect the courts, and we'll see what will be the outcome. Yeah, but just got a feeling, just a small feeling, about this case. Yeah. So, do you think that we can witness once again the last fight between these two fathers? Do you think that we can witness the end of an era? In 2012, during WrestleMania, Triple H versus Undertaker, it was the end of an era. They had battled for a long time, and it was finally time in 2012 to put an end to their era, and that was an end of an era here in so much. So do you think that next year we can witness the end of an era with our two great fathers of this nation putting to an end to their fight in politics? I don't know. So thank you so much for watching, and keep subscribing, liking, sharing, and commenting. Yeah, it keeps us going, and you encourage us a lot. Thank you so much.